What's up? What's going on? Hey! Hey! Bobby. Corn nut?
Bobby's in the house!
Is he?
Yeah, Bobby's in the house.
I'm waiting for the screen to refresh.
Oh, gosh. Turn the compressor?
I think I just turned the compressor off. Oh, boy. So how was everybody's week? There we go, screen refreshed. Perfect. What's up? I was just reading Haley's scaring device off. Morning from Australia. Hey from Atlanta. Cincinnati, Ohio. Let's see what we missed here. Hello from Montreal. What's up, fellas? What's up, guys? Alright, what's up, Christian?
What's up, Christian?
So how's everybody going? Hey from the UK. Holidays from San Diego. Week was good. That's good. Are we in Norway? What's up, guys? Working, just unplug the phone. That's all you gotta do, unplug the phone. Working on one of my favorite currently, Jeeps. Good evening. What's up, Robert?
How you doing?
Yeah, so long week for
on
sure.
Holidays? You were on holidays? What? How are you gonna be on holidays and we're working over here?
No, Victor, I still, a little better, but, whatever. It's that fun, yeah. It sucks.
What's up, James?
So if I cough, I'm sorry. I'll work my way through this. Might dip out, blow my nose. But, with that being said, what a long week, man. Holy cow. Week, definitely not a fun week for sure. A lot of big jobs this week, so thank you, Paul, for not taking into consideration the fact that, we'd be tired when we came back. But hey, there's no rest for the weary, right?
No.
Gotta take it when it comes.
Eliseo.
Hey guys, finally made it. Cool.
Sorry, George.
Get a good run in when y'all got back. No, dude, I haven't ran since we got back. Okay, so Monday I went, it was cold here for us. Went to the gym. That didn't help though, because that I think made it worse. So I took I tried to play like a real adult and was like, I just won't do anything. And it's really ticking me off, I'm not gonna lie, because it's like daylight savings is finally here. I finally get the opportunity to be light when I get home, and I haven't been able to do anything with it. It's ridiculous.
Alright, Thomas Ritchie.
My throat shades is live, Phoenix Gold, old. Okay, that's cool.
What is this?
Any more classic install videos? Here regards to, and then it disappears. Regards to find out. Oh yeah, the Patreon question. Okay, yeah, no, I know who it is.
Okay.
Could find, hopefully giving you name. Yes, I did find it, and I will take care of that question this weekend. I haven't really been doing much on the.
What's up, Bobby?
On that.
Yeah.
What's cold? 60 degrees? Pretty much, yeah. Anything that has a 6 in front of it's cold for me. So, I'm good with that. Nap time? I could go with that. Hola from Mexico. What's up?
Hey, Sergio.
Hey, from Anaheim Convention Center. Ooh, that would be fun.
Where?
Anaheim Convention Center. It's over by Disney.
Oh, really?
Disneyland.
What's up, Johnny?
Not Disney World, which is where I'll be tonight.
Nap time. Yes,
yeah.
I need a nap time.
All right, there was something else here that I see. Oh, what was the question? Any more classic install videos? I thought there was. Hey,
that's ball.
I thought there was 1 or 2, but I have to look. There was a lot of mixed reviews on those, and the thing is we do things in batches, just because it's easier. So it's like we put up a bunch of those, and everyone's like, oh, I'll get back to install videos, and so you go back to install videos, and then it's like, oh, I'll do reviews. So then we do a bunch of reviews. So it's like trying to find a happy mix for everyone is almost impossible. Like we did a bunch of reviews, and because there's a ton of new products, so we want to get all that stuff out of the way. It's like it's like this week back, we didn't do anything. We shot 2 videos, and then it's like next week we're getting back to reviews.
I wear my sunglasses
and all that other fun stuff because we just want to get them out of the way. Like we just got a ton of new product in, so we got all the new Pioneer stuff is shipping. So we have the new 8-inch, we have the new 6-inch, we have the 4500 that's sitting behind the TV that we're looking at right now. So there's a ton of new stuff, and Kenwood's going to be here shortly. And we just want to get that stuff out of the way so that you guys can make your assessments on what you want to spend your money on for this year.
Yeah.
So I need a custom T-harness for the Model S, unless you know another besides Metra.
Can you help?
What is
Model
it? Oh,
S.
that's gonna. Yeah. Honestly, that's it. So you got
Metra.
MetroOnline.com or Car AV if they still have it. But you know, you can do a search for a Bluetooth T-harness and then the make, model, and year of your car. That's essentially what you're looking for. If it's a hard to find car that is European, that's how we found all the car AV harnesses in the first place, was doing that search.
All right.
So that might help.
All right, Josh, we're gonna be here.
Yep. Because we got nowhere else to be. What's up, fellas?
What's up? So
Any experience with Image Dynamic speakers? I haven't played with Image Dynamic in a long time. We can tell you this because they are owned by this company here. Powerbase actually owns Image Dynamic. The subwoofers are handmade by one guy and his helper.
Yep.
And that's about it. Everything else is made specifically for Image Dynamic. There's no crossover between the two companies.
Yes, the backup lines on the Pioneer head units 2019, 18.
Yeah, they have them.
They've been back. Yes.
Will Pioneer put backup lines in future? Yeah. No firmware updates for 2019 head units. Nope. That's the thing you got to remember, is that's not going to happen. What dates are you going to do the new? As soon as we get that 996 in, it hasn't shipped yet. So as soon as that comes in, we're going to do the review. The Camaro iData kit hopefully will be shipping here real soon. The firmware went active yesterday, they told me, so hopefully we'll get that kit shortly, and then we can put them in my car and play with them again. What's your opinion on JBL subs and speakers? Honestly, other than the spare tire, we really haven't done much with them. They were at Knowledge Fest. We stopped by the booth for about 5 minutes.
They actually have a really nice
I like that marine. Yeah, they make a
subwoofer.
10-inch marine subwoofer with the amplifier built into it. That looks really cool.
You know, they have three-way set. They have a lot of stuff, but we just haven't played with nothing.
None of the Amp Pro stuff for Toyota is designed to work on non-JBL, so you have to have a JBL for that to work. I suggest if it's a 2016 Tundra, buy a new radio. Hey guys,
What do you guys recommend for replacing speakers? I would like you guys do the job.
Which car?
That's a Toyota Hyundai Sonata.
A Toyota Hyundai Sonata?
Wow. It's a Hyundai Sonata, yes.
Infinity sound system.
Infinity sound system.
So that's a tough one because you have the Infinity sound system, so it's all amplified, it's all EQ'd for those speakers. Chances are good they're going to be a funky ohm load. So it's not like you can just grab any speaker off the shelf and throw it in there and have it work. A lot of times when you have a premium sound system, whether it be a Hyundai or a Lexus or any of the cars in between, you can't just put new speakers in them. You actually have to do speakers and amps.
Yeah.
Because they're just not going to work together. So other than replacing a speaker just because it's blown, and a lot of the times that happens, we recommend just getting the factory replacement speaker because it's just not going to work. And that is one of the reasons why Powerbase is changing their business model, and they want to become the factory replacement upgrade.
So Texas.
Like, for example, I mean, it's a great market idea. It's surprising that they're the only ones that are figuring this out. I mean, there are speaker manufacturers that make them, but like, this is a factory speaker for a Ford. Go figure. Bolts right in, has the factory plug and everything. So that's gonna kind of be Powerbase's future. Not that this is a paid for endorsement by them whatsoever, but and it's really not. But that is going to be something that company is really going to start moving forward in, and because of that same reason.
Yes, it's going to be the same harness on the P500. If you have the P300, you can upgrade it for the P500. So
the only difference is the harness is on the other side of the box.
Correct.
So
yes.
On
this
the
side.
Yeah, on the P300, if you're looking at it, it's here. On the P500, it's here because the port is on that side. So that does come into play if like you don't have enough room or enough
gonna
length,
that's gonna
then
be an
that's not going to work so well.
Yeah.
JBL cracks will scream. Yes, they do. They have really bright tweeters. What do we got here? Replace the dash EQ with DSR1. Now can't get the bass out of the sub.
Yeah.
What's getting Place the dash EQ with DSR1. Now I can't get the bass out of the sub that I was getting. Any thoughts? So it really what that would come down to is how do you have it set up? Do you have you EQ'd just the subwoofer channel? What are you using for your inputs into the EQ processor? So you have to check everything. It's a 31 band EQ for all 8 channels. So if you just adjusted one EQ, like say for front, then your subwoofer is not going to get EQ'd. So you have to select subwoofer. So you have to go through each page and make sure you have that set up right. If you just want to use the basic EQ, you can use that, and that'll affect all the channels on the DSR1, not just the one channel you're specifically looking for. The other thing too is make sure you're plugged into the right output. Make sure you have the bass, whatever the bass boost is, turned on. That'll give you a ton of bass, but I'm thinking there's something on the install isn't quite plugged in where it needs to be, I think.
All right, let's try this one.
Which one? IData link RCAs are for keeping factory aux correct, or at least one way you can use them. If you're going to use the iSimple for HDMI.
So do you not need the IData bus, data lock? RCA is correct.
Are we talking about a Toyota? Because the Toyota is the only one that has the aux jack RCAs that are AV inputs. All the others don't. And that's just to retain that factory aux jack in the front if it is a full AV jack input. They just give you all 3 of them because that's the maximum amount you can have. They don't always work that way.
Yeah, Paul, check the review on the top 5 radios for 2018. Has Android Auto, CarPlay, really nice features.
I mean, those are the top double dins we talk about, but Android Auto is going to work the same on every radio. The only difference is what radio you want. So it's what radio works best.
Also right now is the type of carrier that you have.
Yeah.
You know, depends on what kind of Android do you have.
So yeah, as far as you're asking about the iData and the Media Links cable, so they do give you the RCAs, so that's all for just retaining that aux input. That's it. So if you're not going to worry about retaining that aux input, you don't need those 3 RCAs that comes on the iData cable. You don't have to use those. You can just plug whatever you're going to plug the Media Links into. So like if you need to use the Kenwood CA-C3AV, the only reason why we always recommend that is for one, it's pinned correctly. We did a video where we talked about the 3 different versions of that cable, and we show you why there's 3 different versions and how to make a cheaper version. Now, in the videos every now and then you see a shorter version of that cable, and you're like, well, what is that? Well, that is actually an AMP global version of it, or Stinger version of it. The problem is that it's a bagged cable, meaning it comes in a bag and has a little white sticker on it. Nobody sells that anywhere on the internet. It's an inexpensive cable. We have them, and that's what we use. But I can't recommend that to anyone because no one can find it. It is nowhere on the internet. No one's putting it up. So even though it's half the price of a CA-C3AV, even if we were to sell it to you, now you got shipping. At that point, you just buy a CA-C3AV.
All right.
So that's why you see the short ones every now and then. But yeah, Amazon just doesn't have that cable.
Have you tried?
Have you tried the half-inch? What was that?
They have then
audio control epicenter with the Volt TV yet. No. We have it. We have it in stock. It's sitting over there. I have not played with it because most of the time we just don't have room for it. So, yeah.
All right. Can you use a voltmeter to measure RCA output voltage?
Yes. Set the AC.
Okay.
So what you do is it depends what voltage you're going for. Most of the time, like if you watch any of our radio dyno videos, we show you using a voltmeter to see what kind of output voltage they have. So pick a frequency like 1000 hertz or 40 hertz on a test track. Make sure there's nothing hooked up to the radio other than the voltmeter. No speakers, no other amplifiers, no nothing. And then meter the output voltage as you turn it up. You're going to see the voltage climb up, and it should, if it's a 4-volt radio or a 5-volt radio, at one of those frequencies, you should get 4 or 5 volts or something really close there to it.
Yep.
And that's it. AC. Sound is AC.
Sound is AC.
What do you got? When I turn on the headlights, I hear a faint buzzing noise. How do I stop that? That's a induced power draw noise gimmick. It could be a bad ground somewhere in the car. It could be a bad battery. More than likely, it's a ground somewhere, whether it be on the bulbs, on the car. There's a lot more information you need to know. So if it's an older car, that could be the reason. There again, it's going to be a bad ground. Could be there's a lot of things. But if it's your headlights, it's a power issue. So they're backfeeding into something and creating noise. Hey guys, I'm watching here in Australia. Awesome.
What's going on?
Hi guys. Show Iowa love coming your way. Cool.
So Iowa, what to say? 2003 Tahoe. What can I use to hook up an amp? Factory stereo. Has both.
2003 Tahoe is a variable voltage output, so you can do it the easy way. You can just use a high level LP72 and just tap the subwoofer in the back corner. Make it easy, good to go. You could go to the amplifier and find the variable voltage output there and run an RCA back, but honestly I would just grab an LP72, tap the factory subwoofer and call it a day. You have to tap the factory subwoofer though. If you don't, you're not going to get any bass.
Perfect.
So Samsung, okay, what do we got here? What was the Samsung Galaxy 9?
No,
there was another part to that question, I'm thinking. I saw it down here.
David? All right,
yeah.
Right there. Did you just pass that?
Did I pass it?
I think so. Right there.
My Samsung Note and my Kenwood deck doesn't work Weblink. Use Google Phone and it works. Any suggestion? Here's the thing. Weblink is crap. We'll just end that on that. So Weblink used to do Waze. It used to do YouTube. It used to do a bunch of things. And it doesn't do it anymore. So Kenwood probably on the new boxes that the radio's coming has a big red sticker on it. Says this feature has expired.
Yeah.
So, like all good things, they come to an end, and that is one of the things that has come to an end. So if you've been using Weblink for Waze and stuff, and you're like, why doesn't this work anymore? Because Android Auto, the whole reason why it even existed was because Apple didn't have Waze compatibility on their devices. Now they do. Now there's no reason for Weblink to deal with it. So they've backed out of that.
All right. Let's see this one. You ever use...
compression drivers? No.
No? All right. How do you stop the lights dimming?
Add more batteries.
High volume.
You gotta have more batteries. Don't turn the headlights on. Good one. That was weak, Christian. More power.
That's it.
The thing is you have a power deficit. So it means you're drawing more power than your car can provide for them. So you have to do a couple different things. One, a bigger alternator to supply more power is the easiest one. However, it's also the hardest one because it's going to be most expensive, and you're going to run into problems because you're going to be going with a high output alternator. Chances are good they don't make one for your car. And also, if you're not and also, if you don't know how to replace it yourself, I don't recommend it because it's going to break at some point and you're going to need to be able to swap them out so you can go to work the next day. The next solution is battery powered, meaning this is the easier one of the two as far as I don't have to replace my alternator. Get more batteries. The more batteries you have, the more power you have to play.
It's all about power.
The bigger the well is to draw the water from, as it were. Now, how do you charge it? Well, most of the time you're not driving around all day long playing your car full blast, going crazy, crazy, crazy. Now, if you're that guy and you're going to be doing that, then you're going to want to plug it into the wall at night and charge it that way. Otherwise, when you're driving normal listening levels, it will refresh both batteries and you should be good to go. I've installed thousands of batteries over the year, and most people go with that, and they don't have issues.
All right, let's see. This one, that was one.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Oh, I don't know. That's just, you're killing me there.
I know.
You look excited about ARC Audio stuff at Knowledge Fest. Really was. We had a good time. We went out to eat with Brian. He was a nice guy. They make that new 8-channel DSP amplifier. If we're lucky, we might get our hands on one of those. So we'll see how that goes.
We'll see.
That's kind of the hope. What amp kit do you recommend when wiring up the Alpine Type X 4-channel amp? That does it come with? They don't come. Oh, that does come. What? Yeah, with RCAs? And does it come with RCAs? So, I mean, for amp kits, we use Stinger. We exclusively use Stinger. So the kit we're going to recommend is Stinger. Stinger makes them both with RCAs and without RCAs. We typically stock in the Stinger Select, which is the blue wire we use. Those come with an RCA. We typically don't use that RCA. We use the 4000 series red box RCAs in pretty much anything we do. We also stock the Stinger grade wire, which is the red wire we use, and that's just a power kit. So depending on what amplifier Paul sold them is how we decide which kit we're going to use. If it's a smaller amplifier that doesn't need a whatever, Paul sells them that kit, and we go from there. If it's a more expensive, bigger amplifier, he sells them the red ones.
Yeah. So this is the 6000s right here.
We don't use those all that often.
Yeah. Somebody asked about if your kicker make a high-end RCA.
RCA?
RCA. They have RCAs. Kicker has RCAs.
Yeah, I think they're
but
just normal.
If you want actually like a high-end, just check Stinger. Stinger make from like 4,000, 6,000, 8,000.
Well, now if
you're gonna go crazy,
X.
9,000 or X.
No, you know, the thing with Kicker and the wire that we've found talking with them is they make the stuff you need to put stuff in, and that's about as far as they go, because they know that the only people buying the stuff are dealers that, you know, buy into the program, and then that's it. Yeah. So it's like when they made a really nice 9-wire speed wire, and we were like, oh my gosh, we got a sample spool of it that John brought us, and I called up Lori and I was like, dude, how do I get more of this? And she's like, it never went into production, you know, because it was going to be too expensive.
I'm going to say DSR-1.
So if you only have, so the question is DSR-1 or 360. It really depends what it's going into. As far as tuning, DSP, as far as that goes. But if you have front and rear output that you're going to be tying into, the DSR-1 is great. If you're going to be using an iData connection, the DSR-1 is great. If you're going to be going high level front and rear input, or just front input, the DSR-1 is great. If you need to do anything like summing or multiple channel inputs other than the 4, DSR-1 isn't your guy. That's not what it's made for. It's made for 4-channel input. And the reality of it is it's really only made for 2-channel input, because when you do iData, that's typically all iData has is 2-channel input.
Yep.
They've just expanded it out to 4 just
Optical.
in case.
Optical, yeah.
Exactly. Optical would be, it does have digital coax, so it has the orange style input on it. So you can go in it that way as well. But not optical.
Yeah.
Just digital coax.
How do you measure the power for the fuse? Like, how big fuse do you need for your amplifiers?
Really? So the first thing you have to do is find out what your amperage draw is. Once you know that, you double it. And that's going to be the fuse you're going to want underneath the hood. Or you could just go to the manufacturer's website, and they typically have a recommended fuse rating on the website.
Oh, depends of the amplifier that you have, yeah.
So for example, if the fuse requires a 30 amp fuse, or you've done the math and you found out that it has 30 amps of draw, double that and put that underneath the hood. That's really the best idea there. You could go with a 30 amp fuse if you wanted, but you got to know that the amplifier is going to have swing time, meaning it doesn't always draw 30 amps. Depending on the type of music you're listening to or the frequencies it's trying to produce, it may draw more than 30 amps, it may draw less than 30 amps. Less than 30 amps is fine. More than 30 amps, if you only have a 30 amp fuse, is going to be the problem. Because it's going to be a slow burn, meaning it's not going to just blast the fuse out, it's just going to, over time, melt the fuse into pieces, which is going to cause heat. You don't want any heat, so you want to make sure whatever the fuse is, it's strong enough to not even worry about it. But there is, cool. Any advantage using RCAs instead of high-level input? No, not anymore. And depending on what manufacturer you talk to, some of them will tell you just to go high-level out of whatever source you're running into the amplifier. The only thing I complain about is that doing the tests we have on the radios, most radios if you're going high level out, clip out way faster than the RCAs. So for example, on a Pioneer radio, if you go line level out, the RCAs, you can get up to 39 on the volume. Previously, you could get up to 38. Mm-hmm. If you're using the deck power output, which is if you just, high leveled into an amplifier, the deck is going to dump out at about 24. So, with that being said, basically all you're doing is you're railing up the power a lot faster. I like to play it on the soft side, the safe side, and let the volume knob turn all the way up.
Notch Bill.
So that's kind of where you're at.
That's Brian. Remember Brian?
Yeah, I know Brian. I remember Brian. Does PAC have a kit to run optical from a Sync 3? It's not necessarily the Sync 3. If you have a Sony system in that particular Sync 3, then yes, because the Amp Pro does have the option to do optical. So Dean seems annoyed. Dean has a pulsating right here that is just like from this cold that I have. Yeah. So it's not necessarily.
He's been like that all week.
Yeah, it's just haven't recouped yet from Knowledge Fest, and the cold is just really cracked. So no, I'm not annoyed. I'm actually having a great time. You guys are being wonderful today.
Smiles.
I'm trying. So we're real thrilled. And we promised we'd talk a little bit about Knowledge Fest. So spending 200. So any weird unexplained problems when adding a sub to a 2006 V6 Camaro with the factory Boston acoustic system? Thinking of just adding a sub. Thanks. No, none at all. Actually, it's the easiest system to do it to. Go back and watch where we put the Alpine PXE 0850S in my Camaro. It's basically going to be the same thing. You got variable voltage output coming out of that radio, so all you got to do is solder in a set of RCAs, and you're done. Yeah. Put an amp in it, call it a day. That's an easy one.
Even you have like a remote.
What's Fernando drinking? What were you drinking?
Soda, orange soda.
Was it orange soda or just orange flavored water?
No, orange soda.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to give promotions to.
Oh, okay.
Whatever,
Spending $250 for 4-door speakers in a 2010 Chevy Ambulance. What speakers? What RMS per channel to sound better than the factory Bose Premium?
What's up, Hector?
All right, so there again, that comes down to asking the same question. If you're going to be keeping your Bose amplifier, replacing them with aftermarket speakers, it's not necessarily spending $250 is going to be the best. The price really doesn't matter because you're not going to get the amazing sound because it's still going to try to think it's a Bose speaker because you haven't replaced the amplifier. Now, if you're going to have an aftermarket deck and you bypass the amplifier, well then the benefits change. But if you're just keeping that Bose amp in there, that's where it stinks. What we've done in the past, if someone is keeping the Bose amplifiers, we've kept it simple. We just do like some Kenwood Exelons, we do some Pioneer TSDs. Just go, normal replacement. Don't need to be crazy because you're not really going to benefit from anything above and beyond. Like, I'm going to put some vocal. No, you're not. So I would look at something simple like that. Kenwood Exelons or some Pioneer THD.
What's up, Johnny? Yes, we tried the P500. They actually sound...
Yeah, hopefully we'll get one of those to play with in a video.
No, but like we already installed 2, 3.
Yeah.
And they definitely sound better. Same plug, like we say, and cool.
So the question was about fusing the batteries. So if you do 2 batteries. So here's the deal. This is actually a good one. So many years ago, the 100 amp fuse was like the biggest fuse, and then they went to a 200, and then they went to a 300. But a long time ago, 100 amp fuse is as big as you need. So you have the front battery, you have the back battery, and you have a 0 gauge or a 4 gauge between the two. Sometimes you put a relay in there to switch the two. All you need for those is a fuse at the front and at the back. Nowadays, you probably use the 150 amp fuse, but we used to use 100, okay? The power is going to be drawn off of this rear battery, and hopefully it's not going to be passing through up to the front battery, so that the fuse doesn't have, like if you have 250 amps of fusing going onto the amplifiers, that should just be between the rear battery and those amplifiers. But that front battery, those 2 batteries, like 150, 160 amp fuse between the two should be fine. Because the brunt of the power is going to be coming off that back battery. All we're doing is we just need a parallel source between the two.
Eduardo.
And that has always worked for me.
Do you recommend roadkill the entire vehicle in 2019 RAV4 to make it quieter?
It's a Toyota. Roadkill it again, and then put some carpet jute everywhere.
Check the Ultimate. Check the Ultimate.
Yeah,
for
Ultimate.
Some of the
Ultimate would be good because it has butyl, it has metal, and then
foam.
it has foam. So the foam acts a little. When we did a Toyota Corolla that way.
Camry.
Camry.
Yep.
Thank you. That's why they all start with the same letters. It's beyond me. We used the Ultimate on the inside of the door panel. We used the regular. What is it? The black stuff.
Yeah, the Stealth.
The Stealth on the whole door, inside, outside, the whole thing. And actually, we didn't do a stereo. All we did was just roadkill the whole thing. So, before we answer any more questions, what did okay, so we told everyone we talk about Knowledge Fest Day a little bit. Yes. So you got the opportunity to listen to a couple cars.
Yep.
You listened to the ARC audio car. You listened to Andy's car.
Audio Frog.
You listened to the badass station wagon. Did you listen to Alpine's car?
I listened to Alpine, but
his battery was dead.
The battery that was disconnected.
They
disconnected.
Yeah, so that
didn't
count.
Yeah, that didn't count.
I'm gonna throw it out there, and I did listen to. I got to listen to the Mustang that had the Focal Utopia M's in there. Yeah. And to be fair, they'd only had them in there for like a week, so they really didn't have any playtime on them. Okay. You need at least 100 hours of playtime in order for those to break in. Yeah. So that was an interesting listen to. It was like, hey, these are the M's. They sound pretty good.
What did Nick say? Like 200 and something hours?
Yeah, well, I said 100. I thought it was 100. Yeah.
No.
So
the K2s is 100. K2s is 100 hours.
So maybe 200 for those.
Yeah,
so needless to say, they weren't broken in yet, so that really didn't give them a fair chance. So I'm just writing them off the list.
Okay, now that we talk about Knowledge Fest, I'm going to ask you guys, because now that we have a lot of viewers, what would you like to see on Knowledge Fest?
Do they even want to see Knowledge Fest is more the question.
Well, I mean, with you guys running around, asking these manufacturers, like, what type of product they have and everything, that's cool for you guys, or what's going on? Yeah. Just type any message or whatever you guys want at the end of the video.
Yeah, so anyways, I really like the ARC car. Like, I enjoyed Andy's car. Because Andy got loud and was just like, hey man, these are just like Andy said in the video. It's like, dude, we got some high-end audio equipment in here with a boatload of power, and we just play it. And that was his car. His car was fun because you just got in it and you were like, that was crazy. Like the interviews. Yep. But the ARC car was probably the most sound quality-esque car there for me. Okay. Would you agree with that assessment?
Yes, that was insane because you see down and
he played this track that he found that was supposed to be like you're inside a pinball machine, and that was insane. And I really wanted that
because you can hear like every single noise, but when it becomes to like center image, it was like right here.
Well, it was just in the way it all moved around. It was crazy. Really neat. So I thought the ARC car definitely was the funnest one I listened to. Okay. Yeah. As far as sound quality and just being like overall impressed. Yeah. But Brian, he competes in IASCA. He's probably got a few championship belts under his thing. So him like Nick are both like sound quality and of course
and Jeff.
The quarter rolling around was sick. Exactly. That was what we were talking about inside the pinball machine. So you got to hear it. So yeah, I really, to me, out of all the cars I listened to, that was definitely the best sounding car. Okay. And my brain is scattered right now. So the funnest was definitely the Audio Frog, just because he was like, he kept asking, you want me to play it loud? You want? Like, yeah, crank this bitch up. Yeah. And no one has ever asked us that.
Sorry.
They were all like, no.
It's just like, okay,
the minimal. That's as good as it gets. And it's like, he was like, let's create it. I would like to see their demos display things at Knowledge Fest. What would be a good chassis ground? What is good? Okay. Chassis
what
ground
is a good ground chassis ground?
Oh, chassis ground or body ground? Both. Do both. Go crazy. I mean, ground. You can never have enough grounding. I mean,
you can never have enough grounding and power.
Yeah. You can never. So as far as like neat products that you saw there, I mean, the one thing that I thought was neat about this Knowledge Fest, there was a lot of little booths. So there's a lot of little booths that had little neat things in them, which I thought was funny because like Dyna Audio had a little booth there, and it's like, and they had like home cabinets for
That's
car
it.
speakers because they do make home.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so we have like $5,000 worth of car speakers sitting in boxes with an amp on the floor, and we're gonna listen to this. I know they sound great. I'm just gonna keep walking. What you guys did was great. Give an open mic for the, yeah. Run your background. Okay. Run your ground back to the battery. Oh no. Yeah. No. Chassis ground. Make sure you got good grounds.
Unless if that's a brand new F-150, that's aluminum, just run the ground all the way to the battery.
No, the length really doesn't mean anything on the. You can go as long as you want on that. It's fine.
Okay, so yeah.
So I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
I mean, that was really. I mean, for me, that was really cool. We actually saw a new product. The
the Audio Frog amp.
The Audio Frog amp.
What else?
The other. The material that you have, like kind of the.
What are we talking about? What brand?
I don't remember what is the brand.
Well, then how do we know? Oh, the sound. The
sound.
brand.
Yeah, exactly
the sound
that.
Oh the foam ring stuff.
What else?
Is there anything hugely beneficial coming to car audio this year? No, not really. So as far as newness goes, this isn't really a show to be like, this is what we have coming new. There's nothing like that. Everything that is out is out. Sound Digital had like 3 new amplifiers they talked about. Andy, of course, was walking around with his little Audio Frog amp in his back pocket. He's like, we really don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Will Audio Frog ever show up in
What's
your
that,
retail
John?
store? Yeah. I mean, there are retail stores that have it. We're just not one of them. Like Addis sells it.
Yep.
McNulty sells it. But I guess the takeaway is the classes. And as far as for us letting you guys experience it, we just, our thought behind it is that we want to show you guys what this industry is doing to train us so that we can be better to serve you. It costs money. Costs a lot of money to be there, and that's why we want to show it with you guys and let you guys see what we're doing. Plus, you guys always ask what we're doing anyway, so that's kind of neat. But yeah, so that was the thought. Did you guys take away? What was your takeaway on it? Did you guys enjoy it? I know you guys just love asking us questions because you're just asking us questions. So we'll continue on with asking the questions. DSP. Lots of DSP stuff. A lot of DSP. So like Andy had his DSP class that we took again, which we got a lot out of that. You went to Ken Ward's DSP class, 4 things again. Yeah. So like a lot of the classes we've been to twice, and they're the same classes we took in Dallas, but they're different. They usually do a little rev on them. There were other classes, but the reason why we took both those same classes twice was because it was like you had questions, and then there was the takeaway. There was other classes offered for DSP, like when we sat in the room with Focal and Ken or Nick. He has his DSP class. Audis and Hertz had a 5-hour DSP class Thursday that we missed out on.
Yeah. Huh?
What? And the fact. That's fine. Okay, that made no sense.
Okay. The Hertz made the 8-inch subwoofer?
I have no idea, Brian. I'm sure they do.
Okay.
So expert auto detail. Yes, the Lumi is cool. We have 2 of them. Slow it down, man. Slow it down. Flute for the win, that works too. Whether you're using a DD1 or you're not using a DD1, hey, that's okay. We have every single possible tool that we could ever think of to tune an amplifier. We have all the SMD. We have meters. We have scopes. We have RTAs. We buy it all, okay? No one brand or thing is the right one to do it.
I'm going to say,
so
everybody's different. If you're using the DD1 and you feel comfortable to use it and you actually make a progress with that, use it. If you don't like it, or
the basic thing is like you said, like Van Hoyt said, DSP. Went to 3 different DSP classes, okay? in each one of those classes, the guy was telling you how to do a DSP differently.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone
There is
does
more
different.
than one way to skin a cat. To hate one product and just be like, oh, this is terrible. No, back off. It's not. Okay. Just because you do something one way, that's okay. Somebody else has success doing it another way. That's the great thing about this. There's more than one road.
What was the most disappointed?
That's a great question. What was the most disappointed? So we did go to one training that was really kind of like, huh. And then we went to another training directly after it, and it was funny because we walked in the door and they were like, dude, just gonna tell you right now. They was friends of ours, and they took us. They were like, dude, this is like 101, man. You guys probably don't want to be here. And we're like, no, we'll stay. And then it was like 10 minutes into it, we're like, no, you're right, we don't want to be here. And we just turned around and walked away. That, and I was starting to get sick at the time, so I was like, no, we're leaving.
Yeah. And I was like this.
Yeah, he was falling. I'm like,
oh my God,
because he did that to me the whole time.
Man.
He was trying to wake me up. We went out to eat one night at this restaurant called Dick's Last Resort. That was really disappointing.
Yeah.
But all in all, I mean, there was really nothing that was like just stuck out that was like, ugh.
Yeah.
You know?
No.
Even the motorcycle thing that we
like you guys know, we don't do motorcycles, but that was
cool.
was
really good.
Yeah.
So I mean, not that we're gonna be doing those anytime soon, but it was, you know. To run a new wire, 2-door speakers, wattage. Yes, wattage would be the thing that would. So if you're gonna run new wires into the door, it is definitely for wattage, or the age of the car comes into play, or the type of the car, and how thin that is. No, it wasn't tacos at Dick's, but no, because Dick's is the place where the cool hang out.
Yeah.
But and I was singing that the whole way. And Aaron will never live it down because he picked a restaurant that was.
That was by mistake.
And it was by mistake, but
because,
that's okay. We're still gonna.
He wanted to go to a different restaurant.
He wanted a different Dick's restaurant, but we stuck with this Dick's restaurant, and this Dick's restaurant wasn't very good.
And they like, boom.
But I will say that the other table that was there, that we weren't part of, thankfully, they made that poor waitress cry. So, sucks to be them. What's up from Kentucky? What's going on?
I will Google it.
Can a 2005 Camry handle 150 watts RMS factory speaker wire? Yes, because my guess is you're going to be running highs on those, and by the time you actively cross them over and the frequencies you're going to play is not actually going to be 150 watts to the speakers. Mm-hmm. So you're good. You're good there. How do you feel about running power wire under a vehicle? Ooh. You can do that as long as you put the wire in some form of a sheathing. So, for example, you can go to Lowe's and you can buy exterior wire conduit that's flexible. If you run it through that, you're perfectly okay and good to go. But if you're just going to like put it on and then just use some crappy flex loom or some accordion loom or even the high expensive Tech Flex that we use, no, it's not made for that. It's not made for any of that form of road crap that flies up underneath there. So you need to have something thick exterior in that case.
They can protect the wire.
It's got to protect the wire. Power. How do you feel? Okay. When tuning an Article Drum 608, how should I set the EQ crossover on the head unit and amps? The EQ on the head unit should be set to 0 all across the board. And I'll explain why in a minute. You shouldn't even be using the radio at that point just becomes a source unit. So crossovers off, EQ off, DSP off, any sound settings all off. They don't need to be on. There's no reason to have them on. Now, as far as gains in the amplifier go, not as important as the debate we were having earlier about those things suck, is you just need to worry about, so set the gains low, turn the gains all the way down. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you're going to get in the car and you're going to start turning, you're going to play your pink noise, your speakers are going to be disconnected, you're just going to be feeding into the RTA, the signal, and you're going to start turning it up, and you're going to kind of see what everything looks like. And at that point, you can start turning the gains and the amplifiers up. The thing to keep in mind when tuning a car with a big EQ like that is you never want to boost, you always want to cut. So if you don't have enough volume, you can gain up because you're going to cut down, okay? So always turn down on the EQ. If you're turning something up 3 and 6 dBs, you don't have enough gain coming out of that. So turn it down. Turn it way down. Turn the amp
down.
up, turn this down. Now, once you've got everything sounding the way you want it, you've tuned for driver's front speaker, you've tuned for passenger front speaker, you've done all your tuning. Now if you're in there and you're listening to it and you're like, hey, I really could use a little bit more treble. That's where your deck radio comes in, and you can actually use that as what's called a global EQ. So if you want a little bit more treble, now you can boost it up 1 or 2 here, a little mid-range, 1 or 2 there. But that's fine. Now if you're finding that you need to lift this up a lot, you need bigger amplifiers. That's all that is. But yeah. Speakers without some nice tools to use. No, you're gonna need an RTA. The one nice thing, okay, so there's 3 RTAs that are essential for tuning the car, and the audio control has 2 of them. You need an input RTA, meaning the source signal that's coming into the device. You need an output RTA, that's the sound coming out. And these are both electrical, so they're actually the more expensive of the 2. The audio control has both those built into it. And then you need an audio RTA. An RTA is the little microphone that you're going to put where your head goes, and it's going to see and it's going to report. The most inexpensive version of that is going to be the audio control little iTest mic. You can get into one of those for anywhere between $100 and $150. The more expensive side of that is going to be some form of a handheld, like a PAA3, a DMRTA, and then you also have Audio Frog makes their little piece for $200. Or I've seen a lot of people buy the Dayton microphone and just plug it into your actual phone. It'll do the same thing. You just have to make sure you have a mic cable for your phone, and then just run a generic app. So I mean, you could go anywhere from, like, you do something like that, get the Dayton, the cable app, you're looking maybe $50, but you have to have some form of an RTA to see that. And your ears for tuning. Yeah, but your ears are going to be at the very end. You know, you can't sit there and play pink noise and tune a car with your ears. I mean, you might be able to, but you have 31 bands to play with, so be realistic about it.
You have the tools, use it.
Yeah, the tools are there, use them. I mean, why spend anywhere between $500 to $1,000 on a DSP and then not set it up right? Doesn't make any sense to me. That was me being annoyed. If you were wondering, by the way, we were asking earlier, that was the annoyed Dean. What's up from Oregon?
Okay, what does it say? It's right here. If you have 7.5K amp, do you have to upgrade your electrical? If you keep the gain.
I'm hoping that's a joke. Yeah, 7.5. That's 7,500 watts. Yeah, you'd probably be pretty good. Run a little bit more than just a factory battery back there. I mean, that'd be good. Zero clipping to my right.
Like 22 gauge wire.
You know. So, what's best, cheapest RTA? Depending on who you ask, you're gonna be there's a lot of them. The DSR1 is like $260 now. You can get into that has the most adjustment for that price point. You have the Dayton, which is fun to play with. We've not filmed anything. What's a good cheap RCA or DSP? Oh. I'm still thinking that probably bang for your buck is going to be the Rockford if it has the right amount of things for you.
Somebody say, what's the best cheap?
Yeah, I just talked about that. Got to go. See you, Victor. Nice talking with you, buddy. Today I had an interesting experience on a Corolla. 6.5 Pioneer Z components in the front and Pioneer 6x9s in the rear deck. Soundstage was crap, and it sounded like, and it changes right when the bad word was coming up. And it's, I'm going down.
Down, right there.
And it sounded like a crappy system. So,
what car it was?
Toyota. Does the 905 have wireless CarPlay?
No. Okay. I'm gonna ask this: if in the Toyota you have the JBL system and you just replace the speakers.
Well, yeah. So I'm assuming it was a system, though. So if it was a system, did you do a new radio, or did you just do speakers?
Yeah.
Because like we've been talking about with that, if like with all the Bose and fun stuff like that, is that if you just replace the speakers and there's some kind of premium sound in there, or the ohm load is different, then just by replacing the speakers, it's going to still suck. So we need to know more, I guess would be, but
Boss. Yeah. Okay.
okay. So dudes, guys, okay,
Yeah.
let's is boss crap. It depends. If you got 150 bucks in your pocket and that's all you can afford, yeah, sure, it's not a high-end radio, but let's look at it this way. Do you want somebody to get into the audio field? Meaning, do you want someone to be like, hey, I really want to upgrade my radio. All I can afford is this. So he buys that Boss radio, he buys that Planet Audio amplifier, or he buys some inexpensive speakers and he puts them in his car.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's someone that is into audio. He's like, wow, this is pretty cool. This is neat. I wonder if there's something better than this. So now they go from Boss up to something else. Like let's say now he graduates from his Planet Audio amp into something a little better. Let's say he gets into like a Scar amplifier or an audio pipe amplifier, and then he plays with that for a little while, and now he's hooked.
Yeah.
And then let's say he goes, I need a better radio, because now he's starting to learn a little bit about audio, and he's like, a source unit is very important. I bought a Boss because I didn't know any better, and I only had 150 bucks, but now I have money. So I'm going to buy an Exelon, or I'm going to buy a Pioneer, or I'm going to buy a JVC, or I'm going to buy a Sony.
It doesn't
And
matter
so
what
he
brand,
steps
yeah.
up, okay?
Yeah.
The whole key is that you're buying something and getting into car audio as a hobby, and you're turning it into something and you're starting to learn. We all had to start somewhere, and if you start with a Boss, you're still starting, okay?
Mhm.
It's not like, you know, not everyone has a ton of
Now
money.
I have money.
So
Let's
yes,
go.
exactly. Now I have money, so now I buy something better because I've
Exactly.
learned from my mistakes.
Yeah.
So to just say, oh, that blanket statement of all that is all crap. Well, yeah, it's not high end by no stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
But the bigger picture is somebody is in car audio. And as somebody like myself and Fernando, and possibly you, judging by your name, that relies on these people buying car audio in order to make a living, then you want them to buy that stuff. Because you want them to be interested in car audio so that maybe one day they come buy some car audio from you.
That's awesome, Jason.
So that's-
Always learn with the worst to appreciate the best.
Yeah, so never belittle somebody or call something crap just because you have something that's better. They have to
Like, we all
learn
know.
at some point.
Yeah,
okay?
we all know, like you say, we all know, you know.
I mean, I'm doing this a really long time. I've
Yeah.
come across some real crappy stuff, and I've owned some real crappy stuff. I've owned some really amazing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. So
Yep.
slow it down. Never double cross. Well, that depends. So if you've got an amp that's got a 12 dB crossover network, and you got a radio that has a 12 dB crossover network, and you need a 24 dB network, by combining the two, you'll get a 24 dB network.
Okay, the
It's just a
carpet
thought,
liner
but,
on
you know,
my
pick one.
truck make noise. Carpet
This-
liner. So that means is the headliner or just the?
I don't know. It will stick to anything pretty much. It's kind of gross though.
But it's a carpet, so it just depends.
Yeah, but the thing is you
Take
gotta
the carpet
understand,
out
trying to
and-
save some of the frustration of learning, it doesn't happen like that. That's not how we learn. We learn by trial and error, and we learn by mistakes. So, you know, you can give somebody the keys to the city with all the intelligence in the world, but that doesn't mean they're not going to fail or stumble. You know, being a parent of a 19-year-old and you being a parent of a 3-year-old, yeah, we know a lot more than them. And I'm sure at one point you were a kid and had parents. So you can tell your kid or anyone, hey, don't do this, or you shouldn't do that, or this might be bad. And what do? You still stick your finger in the light socket.
Filipinos.
And you find out for yourself that, oh, that wasn't the best idea ever. So if somebody wants to learn the hard way, that's okay. I mean, one of the purposes of this channel is to help educate people on right and wrong, good and bad, stuff like that. Show them ways to do things that might not be what they've thought of. It's a learning experience. But everyone has to learn in their own way. But be great telling somebody that something is garbage.
I'm just saying, probably you
No.
have to. You probably can say, you know, it's something better than that. It's always something better than that.
Yeah.
So it's good.
I mean, I had a debate with a guy
Yeah.
once. He was talking about 500 watt amp. All 500 watt amps are 500 watt amps, right? So why do I need to spend $300 on one when I can get one for 80 bucks? And it's like,
Yeah.
because this one's better. Well, why is it better? They both put off 500 watts.
Yeah.
But the only thing he was concerned with 500 watts, he was right, and it was. So he spent 80 bucks, got a 500 watt amp. 2 years later, he found out what the difference was, even though he just did not want to listen to me, and now, you know, he bought better stuff. But
Yep.
you know, you could sit here and just call things what they are, and that doesn't make any sense to anybody. So, you know, that's that. Okay. All right, guys. Well, this has been a fun one.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Having a headache, being sick. Way to, you know, carry this one home.
Some Hertz DG fit in 2014. Yes, it fits. No problem. Make sure you grab speaker adapters because you're going to need it. That's it, Andrew. All right, guys, and
that's it for today. Thank you so much as always for watching. It is the weekend, which means you're going to go out and do silly things, even though we tell you not to. So if you are going to be doing something silly, make sure you get an Uber or a Lyft. And if you want to get cool shirts like the ones we were wearing, by all means, pick them up. You can find them on Teespring/store/5star. You can also go to Patreon if you'd like to support the show. You can go to D&F Tool Drawer if you'd like to pick up any of the cool tools that we use in the videos, as well as we will see you again on Monday for the Facebook Live show. You guys have a wonderful weekend as always, and we'll see you later next time.
Bye.